Hey, what's going on guys, it's Mike here, and today I'll give you a tutorial in Blender 2.69 of how to make your very own Minecraft rig. So, in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to make basic Steve mesh and rig him with simple armatures. So the first thing we're going to need to do when we're in Blender, first you need to download it, just delete everything. Now Shift A, add cube, so that's our first cube. You can also go numpad 5 to get into ortho view. Now if we click and drag this little thing here over, change from 3D view to UV image editor. Now we have an image editor. So if we come back to the 3D view, press tab on the cube, double A to select all the meshes. Now go image, open image, and find your skin. So mine's my documents, pictures, snipermike.png. Now you notice your skin file will appear here. Now next thing we're going to need to do, since this here is actually equivalent 10 pixels by 10 pixels, is scale it down to 0.1. So that will make it so that it's equivalent, that cube there is equivalent to 1 pixel by 1 pixel. So what we need to do now is come over here in 3D view, press N, pops up this, and under the shading tab make sure texture solid's on. Now if you notice, you'll zoom in and your texture's there, and you might also notice your texture might be blurry. So to fix that, go File, User Preferences, System, turn off bitmaps. See, now it's nice and good. So now what we need to do is first turn on snap. So we can either go Shift Tab and you'll notice this little magnet turns on, or we can just press the magnet. Now if we press Tab while the cube's selected and change to Face Selection Tool and click on the front face, remember to get the front ortho numpad 1. That's the front face there. So now what we need to do is select these meshes and just move them to the front of his face. Now you might notice that it's upside down, so we can just select the meshes, rotate it, rotate it by 180, and just make sure everything's lined up properly, so that and that line up, yep. So now we just continue doing that for the rest of his head. So now, as you can see, I've fully textured this head. Make sure you get the bottom. I always sometimes leave the bottom out. So next thing we're going to do is, since this is like sort of the base cube, so we don't have to go Shift A, add a cube, and then texture it all over again. If we just keep this base cube, it will help a lot, trust me. It will save a lot of time texturing. We'll make it a duplicate, Shift D, and then just right click so it makes another duplicate. As you can see, if I press G to grab it, you have two now, so we can just move that to a different layer. I usually put the base cube to that layer. Now what we can do is duplicate this base cube again, except this time move it up on the Z axis. I'll just move it to there. And remember, before I said this is 1 pixel by 1 pixel, we're going to press S to scale and then type 8. So now that represents 8 pixels by 8 pixels by 8 pixels. That's how high his head is. And I'll just move that up a bit. Now some people got a bit upset because I kept duplicating the base cube for the arms and everything. So if you want to retexture it, you can go ahead, but I'm just going to use the base cube. So I made another duplicate. This is for the body. So since the body is 8 pixels wide on the x-axis, 4 pixels wide on the y-axis, and then on the z-axis it's 12 pixels. So now we just need to move the textures. So just go into edit mode, select all the meshes here, and we just move it to somewhere like that, and then we just select each individual bit and fix it up like that. So now we have the body done. Now if you want to, like I said before, you can start over and text a whole new cube but I'm just going to duplicate it. So this one, scale it by 4 and then 3 on Z, and then this one's simpler. You just grab them, scale it to 0.5, chuck it down there like that, and now we can do it again for the foot. There we go. Wait, I think yeah, that's supposed to be on that side. Oops. Now, instead of going ahead and duplicating this and making the arm and leg again, what we need to do is just duplicate it and move it over, but you'll notice the textures don't match up. Like this black pixel here is supposed to be there for his pants. So what we need to do is select I'll just do it for his arm, and then make sure you're in face select the front face, make sure all the meshes are selected here, then press space, then type mirror, and then click mirror. Now it says select a mirror axis, so if I press X, you'll notice it mirrors the textures. So that's correct now. So as you can see, it's mirrored. And then what we need to do, I'll just move it out for this one and this one. So this one here, this texture here is actually in the wrong place, so we'll just move it to here and then mirror that one. So now if you notice, if we look at this side, it all lines up. Yep, that's alright. And then select this one, mirror it. And then for the back, you just mirror it. And the top, mirror. And the bottom, mirror. So now, you'll notice, I'll just go to all the pixels line up properly. It's not derpy and weird like that. And since that since mirroring takes quite a while, I usually just tend to delete that leg, duplicate the arm over, and then just move the textures. There we go, all done. So now we have a basic Steve mesh. I'm just going to move it up, so I just box selected B, G to grab. Now if you'd notice, if I press select arm and rotate it, it rotates from there. So we've got to fix the origin rotation point. So if we go into edit mode, select all the meshes, press G to grab, and make sure it's 2 pixels from the top. See, like that, 2 pixels, and then we can just move it back. So now if you rotated it, it lines up perfectly. And we'll just do that for this arm as well. And for the leg, oops, just there and just there. We don't need that for now. Head like that, body like that. So now all the rotation points are set up properly. Now I'm just going to name all the objects. It helps a lot with rigging, so we'll just come in here. I usually do a player underscore mesh underscore head, but you don't have to do that. You can just type head and then underscore left and then underscore right, and make sure if we go into like what his view would be, that's his left arm, that's his right arm, don't get that confused. Body, leg left, leg right. So now we have a basic Steve mesh. We'll better save it. Tutorial rig. Oh, I already have one. Delete. Save. Okay. Make sure you save regularly. so you don't lose your work, and backup as well. So now we have our basic sleeve mesh. We're going to make a basic armature. So if we go Shift A, add armature, single bone, you'll notice it adds something, but you don't know where it is. So if you just come down to here on the cube, I think that's object, armature group, press X-ray. So now it's X-ray, so you can see through. Now what we're going to do is just move this up to just where his leg and body meet, and just rotate that. So that's going to be the move bone there. And if we go into edit mode, we can select each point and then just extrude with E, subdivide, and then we can extrude out this way and out that way and up this way. Oops, delete that. And then we can get the arms, extrude them down and delete them, so now it's parented, and then simply just do this again. Oops. So now we have a basic armature. Now if you'd notice, the move bone might be broken, so if that happens, just grab this one down and grab his tail, just move it out to there and subdivide that one. So now that one works, and the legs aren't parented, so we just select both of them, then go Control P, oops, not connected, keep offset. So now the move bone moves everything except for the mesh, because we need to parent the mesh. But before we do that, you'll notice that if we rotate the arm bone, it rotates up there. We don't want that, so we just select the heads of the bone, and now it rotates from the origin point. Oops. Now this is the bit where it gets a bit tricky, so I'll just save, make a backup. Now what we need to do is move the bones, not the bones, the mesh out, everything out like this, so it's all spread out, so none of the weight paints mix in with other ones. And also with this, make sure it's in edit mode for the bones, so this will make sure all the weight paints don't mix in with each other. Now if we select the arm, and I'm going to use smooth bends for this one, since that's the simplest. If we go Control R while in edit mode, you'll notice it comes up down here, select a ring cut, so this splits the mesh. So if I just did one and then parented that with automatic weights, you notice, see, it sort of deforms like that. I don't really like just using one. I prefer to use, like by pixels, so you notice all the pixels are covered there, then there, and if there's a 4 pixel wide, you do 3 subdivisions, and then same with this arm, so 11 by 3 by 3. That one wasn't right. Yep, that's it. And then for the arms, legs, sorry, 11 by 3 by 3, and then 11 by 3 by 3, and for the body, 11 by 7 by 3. And we don't need to do it for the head because the head doesn't actually bend. So now we have to parent everything up. So with the head, that's easiest, just select the head, then the bone, Control P, bone. So now his head moves. And like you saw before, if we select the arm, then the arm mesh, then go Control P, parent with automatic weights. Now see, I really liked these before I found out how to do like proper rigid bends on my new rig. If you haven't seen that, I'll possibly be releasing a tutorial soon. So we just parent everything to its bone. Oops. See what I did there? I just parented it to the bone. Don't do that. You need to do automatic weights. And I'm just testing everything to make sure it works out properly. You probably notice, see how if I rotate this one, it sort of deforms because of that bone. So what we can do is select the armature, change this to weight paint. Now this weight paint is very difficult for beginners, so just come over, take your subtract brush, right click on this bone, and you'll notice, see, that's the area that's being affected. So I'll just put my strength all the way up and just erase it all. Make sure you get every bit of it. I usually go over, if I'm weight painting, go over twice because I usually make mistakes. Now that's done, we can just change this back to object mode, and now you notice if we move it, it doesn't affect it now. So now I'm just going to move all the bones back in edit mode. And then all the armatures. So just test everything. So yep, everything's working fine for this. So now I'm just going to put a little limit system on these arms because it's a bit weird how they can bend back. It's so if we just go to the object constraint or bone constraint and come here and go limit rotation. Now I'm not sure which axis it's rotate on, X axis. So convert world space, change that to local space, limit X and put the max to 90. Put the minimum to -90. So that makes it so it can pose to there, and limit X and Z. So now it can only move there. You can put this higher, so negative, let's just go 130. Whoop, that's 160, 130. So now it can go all the way to there. I usually just leave it like that at -90, and then we'll just add another constraint, not location, sorry, rotation limit, make sure that's on local space, and -90. So now you can only go to 90 degrees, and then for this one here, add bone constraint, limit rotation. Now this one's different. I think the max, nope, minimum is 90 degrees, I think. Yeah, oh no, it's still the same. Nope, -90. Wait, no, it is, sorry, it is 90. I forgot to put it to local space. So now the what? Sorry. Yeah, I stuffed up the legs a bit, so it's actually limit X 0 to 90. So there, I accidentally had that in world space, but it's supposed to be on local space. So now we have basic Steve rig, which works well. See, nothing interferes with anything else. Oops. It's all working fine. Now I'm just going to quickly name all the bones. So if we just come here, I'll just call this bones, armature, and then this one's body underscore 2, oops, body underscore 1, and then move. So this will help like a lot when animating, when we get to animating. So arm left underscore 1, left underscore 2, right, right 2, oops, leg right underscore 1, leg right underscore 2, leg left underscore 1, leg left underscore 2, and head. Now before we go, I nearly forgot the most important thing. We need assign textures. Oops. Get rid of that. We don't need Camtasia. I'm only using it for recording. So what we need to do is while the head's selected or anything, make sure you press new, so this will make a new material. If we just name this Steve or character or anything, this is a really long tutorial, this one. Make sure, yep, the only thing that you need to change is diffuse, make sure that's all the way at white, and specular. I usually turn that off, but if you want sort of like a little glossy, I'll just put the colour down so you can see. See how the light, it makes it like glossy, and you can just muck around with the hardness and stuff, but I usually turn it off fully. Now, what we're going to need to do is just select everything now, change that to character, 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 everything's character. Now we come over to the texture tab, make sure the first plot's selected, and press new, and call this Steve or character, and then change the type from clouds to image or movie. Now under the image tab, choose sniper mic, or obviously you're not going to be making me unless you're making me something, which you probably won't. Anyway, just choose your skin name, come down here, coordinates change generated to UV, image sampling, turn off alpha, and then turn off bitmaps interpretation, change the filter from EWA to feline, and put the filter size down to 0.1. So now it would render properly, so I'll just quickly add a camera. I'll be doing another tutorial, I think episode 3, how to set up lighting and camera and stuff. Just chuck on some ambient occlusion. So now everything, it renders out fine. So if this tutorial helped you, delete that. If this tutorial helped you, please leave a like. It only takes a second, and it shows that I helped you, and it also gives me motivation to upload more videos. And also click that sub button so you can be notified when I upload more. So next episode I'll be showing you is how to rig his face, to have a face rig using shape keys. So thanks for watching, see you guys later.